I have recorded a podcast, and that was due to they stole my headphones, and I just assumed that's why I just started writing. And it occurred to me my greatest strength is in my voice, and that's why they stole my headphones. So it means these podcasts are being listened to, even though on the back end, I'm not seeing any data because McRaven, Biden, and the Democratic Party are violating my privacy rights and rights to publicity for their own political purposes. I have come to the conclusion Biden is just an evil person doing evil things for evil reasons, and I will get to that point in a wee bit. Over the last several months, Biden and McRaven, his pet, along with the oligarchs, they have sexually assaulted me using this, and they're still doing it. I was assaulted again last night or this morning. Anytime I fall asleep, doesn't matter what time of day, they're breaking into my room. And the best way I know when they're here is by my dreams, because the body will not shut down until I've done a subliminal messaging to wake me up when anybody's there. I haven't been fully able to catch them because mostly whatever narcotic or whatever they're using, which they first tested out when I was in Daytona, because they began to realize I was starting to catch them starting to wake up out of a lucid dream when they were just doing their normal incursions. And my subconscious is far too powerful, so they've been knocking me out, and it's daily. It is it sucks, to be honest with you. This is the same thing, I guess, what they did to, by they I mean McRaven and Biden, because they're one and the same. Did to both Marchenko and Admiral Borda. Biden, what's hilarious about Biden is he is trying to get, and black Americans are dumb as hell, but for thinking this, that, he's a good dude, he's helping him out. Dude, he's the one who fucked your neighborhoods for 30 years. He's the one beyond that. The Southern strategy might have been started by Nixon or put into play by Nixon, but it was started by the Democrats, the Southern Democrats, before they switched over to, before the Caucasians switched over to the Republican Party. But the regular Democrats, Democratic leadership just kept doing it because it was cheap votes and they can get paid for it. And they damaged this country maybe almost beyond repair. Biden and McConnell sold us out to the Chinese, and Biden to the Catholic Church. And maybe even McConnell to the Catholic Church as well, because he put 6 Catholics on to the Supreme Court, who came up with this disastrous bullshit ruling that the president is above the law, when we know for sure the way the structure of the contract between the people and its government gives 3 co-equal branches of government. And the legislative branch makes the laws that the executive branch has to follow and execute on behalf of the people. And then the Supreme Court and the courts are to balance that, make sure that it's balanced within the contract between the people and its government by saying the executive doesn't have to follow the law, or whatever they do is not illegal. That's essentially saying the executive branch is above the law, and that's the structure of a king. That was explicitly what the founders were trying to avoid. And we have the oligarchs because they believe it's easier to manipulate one person than a whole bunch of people trying to make this happen. It's kind of what happened, pardon me, according to Prince Harry, and we know that's what's going on with Prince William and Prince Charles, and King Charles. He's being manipulated by the oligarchs of Europe and the United States to his detriment and probably eventually his death. It keeps this up. That's why they're attacking me so hard. Because if I wasn't a threat, they would not be attacking me with such a fervor. Not would they? Of course not. So, Biden's legacy is on the line because, well, he's a piece of shit. He screwed over Obama. He was the main reason Obama wasn't able to get things done for Black America. And he's setting up Harris for the same thing. It's the good old problem solution, or he's going to show the solution, and the solution's not going to get anything done. And while at the same time taking credit, so he's going to take all the positive credit for whatever Vice President Harris does, and he's been the Democrats have been whipping the dead horse of Trump. They've been setting Trump up, but nothing's going to change. And then everyone's going to get frustrated and pissed off again, which is the game that psychopaths play. Oh, look at this problem, Woo! Woo! Let's run around, their fucking heads on fire. Look at this problem, ha ha ha. Oh, here's a little crumb, and then they start breadcrumbing. And then you say, well, if you try a little harder. Chuck Schumer, that's his favorite one. That's his favorite maneuver. Breadcrumbing. He's going to get us into a war in Israel. Meanwhile, Netanyahu is violating our trust with what he's doing to the Palestinians. Granted, I understand why he wants to get rid of them because they're just, the Mohammedans and not good people. It's that religion, Islam, is how to be a good, to be a good Muslim, no, how to be a good psychopath. Islam, that is Medina and Mecca, and second Mecca, Islam, is just how to be a psychopath. What is it in the Bible? It talks about how once you've removed the demons out of your system, be careful because they'll see that there's an empty house and they'll bring more with them. And that's pretty much what happened with him, with his bloodlust. And then you have a whole bunch of Muslims. And demons they can't be singular, especially the Legion demon. So I'm going to discuss now what happened last month, which kind of goes into a lot of the things. Same pattern. Where McRaven's been just trying and whole idea of throwing me under the bus to make me look bad. McRaven used an old acquaintance. First off, the name known since kindergarten, Dan, and it's sad because Dan thought he was playing me. I'm just sitting there the whole time, just keeping notes of his behavior the whole time. He started off with breadcrumbing on Instagram by anytime I'd just post something or something was bad happening, or he would then post a picture of this of the water. So I was like, all right, I'm like, shit went sideways. I kind of probably could have moved to a different place beforehand and extended out, but when you're constantly being hammered, you don't always think very clearly about things sometimes. And if you say you do, you're full of shit. Especially when it's like someone's making incursions into your privacy while you're sleeping. So I was like, all right, Dad, I'll bite. And I think kind of in my subconscious, I was like, all right, I'm going to see what's up with Dan, with his bullshit. Because his brother, about a year ago, told me, he's like, yeah, dude, Dan was going off the fucking deep end. And I'm like, all right, dude. I'll get down there to see him. And I was planning on going down there to see him anyways. But what we've now learned is it is a definite, if I caught the hedge funds and McRaven, hedge funds, McRaven, and the market makers purposely attacking my positions. I was able to finally prove that. What they did is, and I didn't even get the full picture because I was happy. I was looking at my data, and also I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? I didn't take that trade there. And so, so I'll be videoing, recording all my trades from now on to show the bullshit that they're pulling. They probably won't be able to pull it anymore because it's being recorded. But we'll see what happens. They'll try to still blame it on me, but we'll still see what happens. But it was pretty obvious. It was so obvious. It was like I would never take a trade at that point, at this certain point, and then but even more so, the data didn't match the trade. It's like and then they changed it, and then I was able to catch it before they made the last change on it. But it was so far off. It was like 4 points off. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. So, which was the risk tolerance I had on that particular trade set. So, anyways, back to Dano. Now, Dan, dyslexic, but he's always been pretty much a bullshitter, and he's didn't realize just how racist he really is. He's it's bad, dude. I didn't realize just. I knew he hung around some people who were racist, but I'm like, it's the South, whatever, who gives a fuck. But he's, birds of a feather flock together. And I know this is the difference between a bigot and just a racist. But anyways, so McRaven got to him. And so I'm doing, so I'm like, all right, I need a place for a couple days. I give him a call. He's like, all right, yeah, dude. And he's like saying things like, oh, he's setting these ground rules. And I'm listening. I'm like, that's not the way you speak, dude. But okay, you say you're changed. I know that's bullshit. But I'm going to listen. I'm going to keep an open mind on things. And I'm going to see what's up. And I'm hearing the different meme sets and the different mimics. I'm going, okay. So I could hear his handler hear and see his handler as he was speaking. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So he's doing his thing, trying to gain control and just being a complete prick, dude. So I meet this other dude who's a fucking junkie. I don't know who the fuck Dano's been hanging out with, dude. He's just fucked up. But Dan's just always just his main premise is everything's bullshit. Everything's bullshit. Everything's bullshit. Because he's a bullshitter. So that's why everything's bullshit. And his main structure and tactics are, if he doesn't like what you're saying, he'll cut you off. Then he'll physically get in your space. Or if you start working to do something, he'll say, I need this. And I'm like, okay, okay, no problems. I'll help you do that. And, well, I don't know. So his whole structure was trying. And then if you do it, then he says, oh, you didn't, and he'll flip and do the opposite. He does opposite day all day long. And he is good at just bullshit. I got to give him that much. So his whole goal while I was there was to prove that he could play me, that he could show he he was in control. Mainly because he either got caught in a honey trap or he was just stupid and some chick got him all twisted and sent his ass to jail for something dumb. I think she was trying to get his land, or said if it's a honey trap, that means McRaven was setting him up. So that way he would attack me. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And so the whole time I was sitting, I'm looking, I met this one dude in front of his Jason, who's a fucking meth head. His son is pretty cool. We'll just call him C since he's underage. Tried to show him some stuff, some online courses he can take. Hopefully help him get his head right, because it must be sad to watch your dad just waste away to drugs. Then another chick, Deb, cool girl, great, she comes from a good family. But I'm pretty damn sure that dude Jason's gonna fucking end up just swallowing her whole. And, it sucks. Get her all twisted up in drugs. And she's trying to use drugs to self-medicate the pain of the loss of a friend that she actually fell in love with. But knew he was gonna die, so she didn't let herself get close, and now she feels guilt for it. But during this time, I was just able to study the behaviors of people who really are just shitty people, like Dano. He was talking about, we had in high school mutual friends, Jeremy and Gabriel. Gabriel is like Puerto Rican or Cuban. So either way, it's an honor society. He comes from where it's a honor culture. And he's sitting there talking, and like, Gabriel told me, like, dude, I don't, the blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, Gabe was always chill, dude. You know what I mean? All the fucking tards, I didn't like most of you motherfuckers. You didn't like me, but Gabe and I, we were just fucking chill. We got along great. Because we got each other. We understood each other. And, apparently he pissed Gabe off, and Gabe told Jared, but Dano's, he's screwed almost everybody over, and he doesn't see it. And I'm just sitting there, I'm at this place, I'm sitting there seeing that he purposely tried to embarrass me. I'm sitting there, we're at a restaurant, purposely, because I'm kind of stuck dealing with this shit. And it's the restaurant where my old wrestling coach, I know this guy fairly well, or used to know him fairly well. And he's sitting there purposely out loud saying, man, oh, you said the Navy SEALs covered the blood. I'm like, God, dude, you don't embarrass somebody like that. You don't try to devalue them. And I'm just sitting there and I'm going, they threatened my sister. And he doesn't realize, he doesn't understand. And so I had to put out something to tell my dad, to make sure my sister was covered in safety. And he'd come back the next day looking at me, and once again you could see the mimic float through his being. And I'm just like, you spoke with your handler, and you called it bullshit, and you're thinking you're in control and in charge, and you're trying to manipulate me, and I'm your fucking meal ticket to get out of the situation your dumbass got yourself into. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking candy ass. And and his favorite thing is, hey, I was like, hey dude, I'll just pay you a couple of bucks, because he was trying to say, oh, you owe me money from the last time you were here. I stayed here last time, about 15 years ago. And the reason I was there, I was kind of being silly, trying to get my shit together. That was also because McRaven was undercutting. Now I know, now that's when McRaven was undercutting me getting a job anywhere. But the reason I didn't pay him or whatever was because he was being an asshole. And I had helped him doing some consulting, which was, he'll even say, yeah, you told me I can make $4,000 every month and blah, 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 because he's only making like $1,000 or $2,000 a month. It's like, dude, I showed him a couple ways, like he found a simple way to get on the line and do things. That was because of me. And so it's just kind of, it's the way they do it. It just gets greedier and greedier and greedier. You do one thing and well, he keeps taking and taking and taking. And you're like, no, these are the fucking boundaries, you little punk. But it's his place, so you got to deal with his dumb shit. And I'm like, all right, dude. And I could sense within 3 days after leaving, especially that chick, Deb, which the crackhead called her Gabby, which is what he felt her, instead of seeing who she is as a person. I could just feel when they turned her spirit against me, but that's fine. I hope she can get out of that situation she's in. But even that dude Jason, he was like, you're with us, you'll never get out. And I'm looking at this guy going, you're high as a kite. I want anything to do with your piece of shit. Get the fuck out of here. So, it's, even though this is a very scattered way of stating it, it's the same bullshit, same pattern. And I'm listening and I'm watching Dano and I'm thinking to myself, there are a lot of pieces of shit in this world. McRaven plays on them. And people like Biden play on them. Get nothing done, steal everything they have from them using the law. Then, as in Biden's case, goes to church every day. Oh, please, Lord. Meanwhile, he's just doing absolutely abhorrent shit. As they said, he threw Obama under the bus, and he's trying to set up Harris to be thrown under the bus as well, to get nothing done. Also, as I said, the hedge funds with Blackstone Group, I now realize is owner of the hotel chain I've been staying at, and explains why the assistant manager, Extended Stay America, and his hotel staff kept attacking me. This last room I've been, the floor was absolutely disgusting. It was black. It hadn't been cleaned in years, apparently. And it was a retaliatory, someone retaliating to me against for making a complaint, which I'll put in again. I should have the rights to privacy. I should have the right to feel safe. It just makes, even before the whole contract with Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, it goes to show you just how depraved psychopaths are. How full of shit they really are. How they are so stuck as toddlers and the damage they do to the world. They're going to try to say that it's because of them we have societies. No, we have societies to counter them. When you look at what Dr. Sapolsky's work, civilization didn't occur until until the psychopaths were put in check. The toddlers were put in check, and they're not the alphas because they're not alpha, because they're just scared. It's fear. Civilization is not built on fear. Civilization is built on overcoming that fear. And psychopaths don't overcome fear. They're nothing but fear. They're lower state beings. They're the lily demon. They're feminine, especially as a masculine. They're feminine. Then you have the narcissist, which is the feminine of the psychopath. And the borderline, which can't figure itself out. 10-year-old who's traumatized. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens to Ukraine if they can get out of this. You know. But anyhow, this is what's going on. I'm going to continue to start doing more of these podcasts as opposed to just writing, because, as I said, it's a violation of my privacy, a violation of my life, and it's violation of other countries. We cannot, all empires are bullies, but it's getting to a point where it's going to be dangerous for us, Americans in general, and in particular. We keep going the way we're going. I feel sorry for Dano. I wish him well, but as he said, nobody changes, but the fact is he never changed. He never grew up. He thought he can use people and then bullshit his way out of everything. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And McRaven's a traitor, and so is Joe Biden, as far as I'm concerned. And now we have a president who's an emperor, and they're doing everything they can to keep the people from learning how to pull the levers of our own government. We're pretty much an autocracy. No, we technically are an autocracy with that Supreme Court ruling. And people like McConnell and Schumer are just pieces of shit. They sold us out. All of them. As far as Ukraine war is going, we're holding on. Hopefully, to keep attacking to the north. One idea I was thinking about is using drones to do MICLICs. Kind of weird. I don't know why that came up to my mind. But it's something that could be done. Thought over it. So that way you can clear fast. You have a mine clearer, throw a MICLIC line, using 3 or 4 drones. Do a MICLIC, boom, bam, 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 get through those mines. And hell, you can even do wire guided, put it on the MICLIC, wire guided from the different drones farther out ahead, send 2 or 3 back and forth, fast, and then you know. Anyways, there's just different ideas, but getting through these minefields is that's the next stage. And whoever can get to the minefields the fastest is going to win this war. Well, I won't say it's going to win this war, but that's the next stage of development. That and drone on drone warfare, which seems to be happening. Then you have Africa, Sahel region seems to be sort of stabilizing, as we'll see if they overassert themselves and what the French do about it. But right now, the French are happy. Just, okay, you want to keep the gold. We're going to just move around our reserves, cash reserves, keep our gold reserves. Then you have West Africa, East Africa. And we'll see what happens there in Sudan. You know, speaking of that, I'm thinking about Somalia and then up in Minnesota. One thing I did not like with Governor Walz changing the Minnesota flag. You know, you Minnesotans, a lot of they're from they're from the Norse. You have Icelandic and you have Norwegian and Swedish, and not realizing Islam, they come to this country and they start wanting to change shit to being like the shithole that they came from. And they should have never changed that flag. Should have never have changed the flag for the state of Minnesota to make the Somalis feel happy as they were trying to supplant Christianity and put Sharia law into play. Yes, Islam is trying to overrun the West. They make no mistake. They make no. They're pretty blunt about it. I met this one guy. He was just a complete ass, just a rude shit. They're just such fucking shitty people. I really don't like most Muslims. The behavior is fucking horrible. It's just arrogant. It's rude. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, hey, dude. Next in line, man. He's like, okay, no problems. And he speaks perfect American English. So he knows the fucking culture. And then he tries to pull some bullshit. And I had to fucking tell him, look, dude, I've read your books. I know you're full of shit. You're being a prick for no reason. He's like, oh, man, I just wanted to be. I'm like, dude, get the fuck out of here. You know, so, like I said, Mecca is the first Mecca. When he was in Mecca, that part of the religion's cool. It's actually, yeah. But his wife died, and it's all about bloodlust in Arabia. So, Arabs and their bloodlust. And that's when there's like, oh, we can use this to become more bloody. And then it just turned into a shit religion. Oh, you can't talk bad about us. Well, don't do bad shit. Dude. So, we're in interesting times, I guess. And you got the Chinese seeing what they're about to do. I don't know what's coming, man. But they're trying to block, I mean, from a metaphysics perspective, the demons, meme entities. From an objective perspective, we're looking at the owners of these corporations, because they are trying to keep Great Britain weak, the UK weak, and then squeeze everything out of the American people in general. I present a grave threat to all of that. And you see what happens with BlackRock. That one Clinton advisor is going to supposed to be doing investments in Africa. Get the fuck out of here. She's their bitch. And the Africans know this. People of Africa know this, especially Christian Africa and Africa, south of Sahel, that's non-Muslim. They get this shit. They're like, fuck you. We're not going back, man. We're not putting up with your shit. And we try it. These rich fucks, it's not their kids that are going to be bloodied and dead. America will drag everybody into hell so a few can be greedy. Anyways, I'm going to go. I wish everyone well, and I'll be doing these more often again. Slava Ukraine, glory to democracy. May the flag forever wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave.